You're watching R&M, RBG TV.
Peace and Black Power, family. And Google now you see R&M here. Alright, so dig it. Before we start off with this clip, before we get into today's breakdown, whatever, I wanted to open up with a few words from a good book, Black on Black Violence, by the late great Dr. Amos N. Wilson, one of our greatest revolutionary black scholars and psychologists. Get the book if you do not have it, family. Powerful arsenal right here. This is going to come from page 100 of chapter 6, which is self-alienation. So this is the lines right here. This is going to be on starting from the third paragraph in the middle of the page. Externalized violence as mechanism of conflict resolution. Alright? The alienated personality in a personality in opposition to itself. It is host to a triangulated conflict between its actual, real, and idealized or fantasized self. Consequently, the alienated personality is disturbed. The conscious and unconscious conflict which characterizes the alienated personality is by definition not perceived by him as occurring within himself, but as experienced by him as a disturbing process occurring between himself and the world. So like I said, today's discussion we're going to get into some selfish stuff. Like I said, you know what I mean? That's today's discussion. We're going to talk about selfish acts amongst the black community. So y'all stay tuned, family. Peace and Black Power. What up, yo? Peace and Black Power, family. You already know who it be. It's your brother in Google, now you see R&M. You already know you watching R&M RBG TV. You know what we keep it, G. Raw and uncut. Common sense talks for the common sense people. Dealing with common issues, looking for the common solution. You dig? But like I always say before I get into anything, you already know, family, black love is the cure for the black nation. So let's get it. You dig? Today, we got a powerful one we gotta cover, yo. We gotta talk about some real serious shit when it comes to this whole nationhood thing, you dig? And the topic or the title of this discussion is gonna be Selfish Black People Syndrome. S.B.P.S. Selfish Black People Syndrome. Selfish Black People Syndrome. Alright, let's do it. So the reason why I came up with that title, right, this topic is very simple. Very simple. Kind of complex when you think about it, but it's very simple. It's complex in application, but the theory nonetheless is very simple. Basically, us as a people, black folks, you already know the only ones I care about, primarily. Over the years, through generation, we have become such a selfish people. And it's damn near scary. Real talk, when you think about it, it's damn near scary. It's almost frightening. Black folks have become very selfish, very stingy. And when you think about the essence of which we became, the people who we naturally are as African people, right? That's not necessarily a trait that dwells within us naturally. We're a warm people. We're a giving people. We're a loving people. A justifiable people. Right? A balanced people. Basically, with the whole balance, you get what you give. That whole kind of, scenario, whatever. But long story short, we were a well-rounded entity. Correct? Correct. We didn't necessarily know nothing about that whole being stingy shit. That whole it's all about me shit. Let's keep it 100 until the encounter with Europeans, invaders, because that's how they get down, even amongst themselves. You know what I'm saying? They battle amongst themselves. They fight amongst themselves, right? So, of course, you already know, slavery, captivity. Everybody always likes to say, yo, why won't you stop talking about slavery? Why won't you stop talking about the past? Because you can't escape it. These issues have not been, brought before the world, so therefore the wounds have not healed. So in order for a wound, in order for a movement to go past and beyond a tragic scenario, it needs to be addressed. So that's why I keep talking about it. But long story short, most of the stuff that we deal with, the majority of it goes back to them plantations. It goes back to them ships during that Middle Passage. Correct? Now, being stingy. We're coming from a people that's dealing with the whole village aspect, right? You know the African proverb. It takes a village. Bit my damn tongue. It takes a village to raise a child, right? In other words, we all looked out for one another. Your son was my son. Your daughter was my daughter, etc., 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 etc. We were one big family on the block, right? Coming from the continent, even in the midst of the hells that we were dealing in. Because if you look back in like the 1800s or whatever, the 1800s, late 1800s to the 1900s, up to about the 70s, really, black folks were somewhat together. You know what I'm saying? We pulled it together. We fought the good fight, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Black Reconstruction came in. We started doing our own thing. Black Wall Street, you already know. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Charlotte. There was another city, I believe. I couldn't think of the next one. But long story short, black folks was doing their thing. Families was together. Folks was married. Children, the whole nine. It was a whole good family package, right? So there was no need for the whole, I gotta get mine. Well, I get, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. We shared with one another. It was very simple. What I had, you had. What you had, I had. That's how we rolled. Once families started being broken up, toward the quote-unquote end of the civil rights era, right? Mid to late 60s and things like that, right? Families started getting broken up. Fathers are starting to be missing from the homes. Moms got to do it, etc., etc., etc. You already know. I don't necessarily have to go too deep into that, right? The 70s comes on the scene. This is when all the pimps and the players and all that stuff, they coming up on the world or whatever, right? And basically that was like the beginning of the motto of, it's about me now. I'm gonna get mines now, right? Because in the 90s, if you remember in the 90s, that was the slogan. I'm getting mine. Get yours, I'm getting mine. That was the slogan. So in the 70s, that was like the precursor, so to speak. The foreshadow of what was to come, right? Everybody's out hustling, scratching, surviving, doing their own thing, and doing just exactly that, doing their own thing. Fathers was way over there, not taking care of their families. Mothers was even over there, neglecting their families, right? Children were left by themselves, roaming the streets, XYZ, XYZ, getting in all kinds of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Street violence amongst other kids, issues with the police, getting caught up in the drug game, all that good stuff, right? Bad stuff, pardon my language. That was going on. That was going on around that time. The 80s, it got worse. Crack is on the scene. My era. Right? You already know what that did to the scene. That destroyed everything. It widened the gap that was already, that started out as a crack. The 70s, the end of the 60s, the early 70s, that was the crack, if you will. The 80s blew that shit wide open. Right? So now everybody, they out doing just that. Getting theirs. Doing just for themselves. Everybody's getting caught up into this flashy life. The fast cars, the fast money, the fast women. This was the temperament of black society, if you will. Everybody wanted to live fast. The children look up to this stuff and they thought, this was something they quote-unquote idolized. This is what they saw because this is what they saw as far as a mirror image of themselves. They saw other black folks, quote-unquote, getting money. They wanted to aspire to do that, right? They didn't see the consequences that follow behind it. They just saw black folks getting money and they wanted a part of it. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all they saw. So in the end, if you really think about it, that was already the beginning of the crippling syndrome of our children, right? We already started to cripple our children by way of doing this, by this whole selfish stuff, right? Because if we're selfish as adults, and we're not sharing ourselves, sharing that which we have with our children, you really think our children gonna turn around and really respect and honor and revere their parents the way they should? Nope. 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 Because that was all neglect, and that was another form of abuse. So in other words, we started to abuse ourselves within the community. We started to neglect ourselves in the community. And once we started to doing that to ourselves as people, person to person, the neighborhood started to follow. Businesses started to flop, bankrupt, and dry out. Property values diminished. You know what I mean? Drug corners everywhere, springing up out of nowhere. Now you got more and more and more police activity in the neighborhoods, etc., etc., etc. Come on, family. You know what's going on in the neighborhood. You see just as much as I do. But again, this is because we're starting to be selfish now. Everybody's doing their own thing for me, right? Well, I know you. I say you my homie. I know I say you my man, and this, that, and the third, or whatever. But if push comes to shove, I'm not necessarily gonna ride for you like that. I'm gonna look out for my own, make sure I'm good. We lost track of the whole village aspect. We say about words, you my homie, you my comrade, yeah, we family, you my bro, you my sis, yada 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 yada. It all sounds good, cause we the best of talkers. We talk the most shit out of anybody, so it sounds good. But when it came to the application, and comes to the application in the present time, where is it? We're too busy being selfish. Too busy being selfish. But that's only amongst each other, because you already know, family, just like how I'm about to say it, you know what I'm about to say before I say it. We turn around full circle, right? I'm sorry, half a circle, really. We turn right around, turn our backs on one another, and then we look the next person in the eye who really don't give two shits about us. We skin and grin, shuck and jive, like always, right on time. So we're not selfish on a total level, we're just selfish with each other. But then have the nerve to say, oh, it's really hard out here for the black community. Why is it like this? Why? It's very simple, because black folks have failed to realize that it takes responsibility and accountability to move forward. Who gives a damn about blaming the next man? I said that in the last video. We waste too much time blaming everybody else for our problems, regardless of if that's the source. Who cares? Who cares? Get over and done with. They're the source. They're not going to own up to it, so that stop there? No, you still got to live with it. So do you A, sink with the ship, or do you patch the ship up and keep floating? Those are the only two options that you have, black people. Period, point blank. Get that through your heads. So stop wasting time blaming them. Stop being so damn selfish with one another. Learn to realize that sister that you're looking at is your sister. That brother that you're looking at is your brother. That little young boy is your son. That little young daughter is just that, your young daughter. And you need to treat it just like that, man. These elders out here, those are your moms and your grandparents and this, that, and the third. Your pops. That's the only way we can survive, if we return to that village aspect, man. Because at the end of the day, all we doing is further widening of the gap. We got more turf wars than a little bit amongst black folk. But then, like I said a minute ago, got the nerve to cry and moan and whine like Keith Sweat when somebody else of another race or another entity comes and does something to us, does something to our own hood. You know the reason why they do it? Because we neglect our own selves. Why do we neglect ourselves on a family level, on a village level? Because we're too busy being so freaking selfish. We don't want to circulate the dollar by supporting black businesses. We don't want to lend a hand to the sister who happens to have, 2 or 3 different kids or whatever, and there's no man there. We don't want to look out for her. We don't want to look out for the brother that's struggling hard as hell trying to get a job. You know what I'm saying? So he can provide for his family that's looking at him right now like he's a loser because he's not bringing nothing to the table. You feel what I'm saying? We don't look out for one another. We don't even help elders when they cross the damn street. Little things, man. We barely communicate with one another. You know why? Because we're selfish. Say what's up to a black person on the street and see what response that you get. Well, then turn around and look at them and see how they respond to white folk. See how they respond to Arabs. See how they respond to Asians, East Indians. It's no problem. It's no problem. It's no problem. They do it willingly. Willingly. But when it comes to you, it's war. All because of what we have been force-fed and what we have basically embraced as our own. You feel what I'm saying? We've been force-fed. No, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. We've been force-fed this so-called way of living, right? This whole going back and forth with one another, being selfish amongst one another. You know what I mean? Not trying to raise one another up. We've been force-fed that. Think about it. Where do we get this from? This is not a trait that African people carry naturally. Naturally. So when you return to your natural essence, your natural being, as a black man and woman and child in here in the hells that we going in, you'll learn how to commune with one another. You'll learn how to be amongst one another. You'll learn how to progress with one another. You'll learn how to put that selfish shit to the back burner amongst your own. If you're going to be selfish, damn it, be selfish with your people. In other words, do nothing but be with your own. If you're going to be on that level. Now, of course, you already know folks won't call it all kind of this and that and third, racism and yada, yada, yada. Oh, you're being a reverse racist, which is bullshit. But that's another topic for another discussion. At the end of the day, if you're going to play the selfish game, be selfish for your own, not against your own. Big difference, family. Very big difference. Learn the two and apply. We always want to be the world's humanitarians, but when it comes to our own people, we got like the bubble guts, because all we do is shit on each other. What is that? What is that? But then, like I said, want to turn around and say, yo, we need to do something, we need this, we need that, it's really messed up out here. Y'all are backwards, man. Keep it 100 with you. Black folks is backwards right now, man. Switch it up. Switch it up. Switch it up. Real talk. Again, the village aspect, as far as community, as far as nationhood, nation building, reconnecting the dots, is very vital. It's one of the key components that you just cannot get around. You can't avoid it. You can't avoid it. There's no way you can talk nationhood. There's no way you can talk family. There's no way you can talk building with one another if you have a selfish mind, if you have a selfish heart. Because if you think selfish, you're going to speak selfish. If you speak selfish, you're going to walk selfish. And who's going to walk side by side with another selfish person? So if that's the case, if you got two different people all the way over here, away from one another, how was there going to be a build? You just burnt the bridge. All because you thought about yourself. All because you thought about yourself. There's a difference between self-reliance as far as dealing with the people on a self level, and far as versus just being plain out as selfish. Me versus the rest of the world. Sorry. No man is an island. And at the end of the day, when it comes to this racial thing, black folks ain't got no damn friends, so you need to stop acting like you do. Big up to the homie Nell, because he says that all the time. We ain't got no friends. And he got that from the great, late Dr. John Henry Clark. He said it all the time. Black folks have no friends. So why we keep fronting like we do, but we keep shitting on each other, is stupid. It's dumb. It's asinine. It's retarded. Let it go. Throw it away. You feel what I'm saying, black folk? Real talk. Real talk. The crying game is over. The crying game is over. Those days is over. Those days is over. Those days are over. Walk that which you talk, or shut the hell up. Everybody want to run like the new fad nowadays is talking about nationhood. That's the new fad. The reason why I say it's a fad is because there's no real application behind it. If you really look, if you look beyond the surface of it, everybody's quick to throw up a fist. Everybody quick, you know what I'm saying, take a photo op behind a picture above a flag and everything. Quote a good word or two from one of their ancestors. Peace to them. But when it's come down to really living this shit, really applying yourself to this stuff, putting that effort, time, resources, money, manpower, all of that stuff into it, folks get quiet. Folks get crickets. Folks is nowhere to be found. Or as Dead Prez always says, a lot of niggas be talking that shit, but when it really goes down, they be gone in the wind. You dig? You know why is that? It's because everybody's on this whole, I don't need to look out for everybody else. I'm good. I'm living alright. I'm chilling. Selfish as shit. You're not chilling. You're not chilling. You're not chilling. You're not chilling. Now watch how I hurt your feelings on this one. No disrespect, but this is reality. Based on the fact that a lot of our family, the majority of our family, is still stuck in the religious mind state, right? Follow me if you will. I could have sworn that whole selfish shit is really I guess, goes against the grain of these teachings of Islam, these teachings of the Hebrew and Jewish culture, the teachings of Christianity. Don't somewhere along the lines all three of those texts say something to the effect of want for your brother what you would want for yourself, want for your sister what you would want for yourself, do for your sister what you would do for yourself, do for your brother what you would do for yourself, something to that effect. I mean, everybody quick to be holier than thou on Fridays when it comes to Juma, on whatever days that the Jews and the Hebrews go to the synagogue, and on Sundays at the church, everybody's all holier than thou. Y'all can scream it out loud and proud, and then, but when it comes to really putting this shit in real life form, y'all front. So y'all are some bootleg ass religious people. You feel me? Again, return to your natural essence, African people. Return to your essence. Return to the family commune. Return to the village. I know everybody's caught up in the big city lights and the splendor and the glamour and all of that stuff, but like they always told us back in the day, all that glitters ain't gold. So in other words, stop being so quick to get caught up in the ways and the shitty ways of society, and with this whole doing, this whole selfish shit. Get back to the village, man. Get back to the village. The family needs you. The children need you. Period. That goes to the sisters. That goes to the brothers. That goes to the youngins. That goes to the elders. Because it's all hands on deck. We have no more time to worry about self on the level of me personally. We have to worry about self as we collectively. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else. Not gonna go too much hard on this. At the end of the day, like I said, we gotta show love, man. We have to show love. We have to be able to communicate. We have to communicate. Period. We have to communicate. How can we communicate if we constantly warring at each other? And the reason why we're warring at each other is because of selfish acts, selfish thoughts, selfish speech, which produces selfish walks. Because it's all about myself, that what you're doing over there is basically posing a threat to my livelihood. Because I'm so selfish. That what you're doing is posing a threat to me. So I gotta do something to either A, shit on it, or take you out. Period, point blank. Thus we have black on black violence all the time. Thus we have the sisters going at the brothers at the sisters. Insecure relationships on all levels, socially, politically, economically, educational wise, personal, intimate, family structure. All of that stuff is on shaky ground because we can't communicate with one another because we selfish as hell, which produces war-like mentality. But not when it comes to those that oppress your ass, though. When it comes to them, shit, you good money. You show them pearly whites. That's all we do, family. X that shit. X that shit. Stop being selfish with your own, man. If you want to play selfish game, I say it all the time. Malcolm said it all the time. Khaled said it all the time. The Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said it all the freaking time. Race first is the only selfishness. Because it's a progressive selfishness. Like I said, man, kill the drama. Let life live. Help life live. Stop adding death to the damn equation, family. Because that, whether you see it or not, just because you don't see bloodshed don't mean we ain't dying. We killing each other every day just with this mentality alone. The village is calling, family. The ancestors are calling, family. Listen to the call. They're trying to guide us home. The only way you're going to get there is if you follow the path. Return to the village, yo. You dig? But in the meantime, between time, this has been your brother in Google. Now you see RANM. You've been watching RANM on RBG TV. Again, that raw and uncut talk that the family need to hear. You dig? And as always, black love is the cure for the black nation. So let's get it. Selfish shit to the back. Family to the front. Onward ever. Backwards never. Peace, love, and black power, y'all. Let's get it.